but just over here, this is where we see some visible gold. So it's in this particular intercept where we see this coloration, and I'm not sure whether the resolution will allow you to see that, but there are blebs of visible gold all the way through here.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Ariana Resources Managing Director, Karim Senner. Karim, very good to speak with you. You're on site at your Dokwe project in Zimbabwe. Earlier this week, you announced a review of 2021 drill results. So tell us what you're doing at the project and why you reviewed those results.
Yes, so the results that we announced earlier in the week were new assay results on some drilling that was originally completed as part of the pre-feasibility study on Dokwe. That work concluded in 2022, but because they were geotechnical holes, they represented very good material, good sample quality, and we could see that many of these holes had actually gone into mineralization. Now, they weren't originally targeted for identifying mineral resource extensions and so on. These were purely geotechnical holes, but it was quite clear that penetrated the mineralized ore body. So it made sense to half core those or quarter core those drill holes, and then have those assayed. And that's really provided the basis of the additional data that we'll now need to complete the next iteration of the mineral resource estimate. So we had some exceptional results, and because I'm on site now, I can actually show you some of the intercepts that related to that news release. So I'm happy to do that in just a moment. The other thing that I just wanted to emphasize is that the work that we're doing now towards the mineral resource estimate is going to substantially inform the next steps that we take in the feasibility study for Dokwe. So we're playing all sorts of tunes on how we might advance the Dokwe project as a whole strategically, because this is a very significant project in the country. It's the largest undeveloped gold deposit in the country, and we've demonstrated that it could potentially be one of the largest gold producers in the country once we've gone through the process of DFS financing and then ultimately into mine build and construction. So yeah, it's a very exciting time.
Great. So take us through some of those drill results or those assays there, Karim.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I'll just walk over here. So I'll just, in fact, before I do that, let me just show you some of the site. So this is all the drill core. There's about 42,000 meters of drill core preserved here. A lot of the newer drilling and some of the older drilling we see arrayed through here. Our geologists have been working quite extensively on reinterpretation of the geology. And this hole, DPD 126, is one of the holes that we announced the other day. And over here, we can see the intercepts. You can see the intercepts sort of marked out on the drill core here. But the zone that we particularly refer to in the announcement is just here. So from about 176 meters down hole, we're getting just a little bit further, about 177 meters down hole. We're getting almost 32 grams per ton. There's a 2.34 grams per ton there. And then within a broader zone of mineralization that ranges in grade from about, let's say, 2 grams per ton there, all the way to, well, there's a 5.4 there, and another 2 grams per ton there. So quite a wide intercept of very substantial mineralization. And another area that I can just show you, and this actually doesn't relate to one of the most recent holes announced, but it's actually a hole that we drilled for our due diligence drilling. But just over here, this is where we see some visible gold. So it's in this particular intercept where we see this coloration, and I'm not sure whether the resolution will allow you to see that, but there are blebs of visible gold all the way through here. So that's one of the interesting things about this deposit. We have a number of zones that are very high grade within a broader zone of mineralization that's typically lower grade to the point of, on average, about 1.4, 1.5 grams per ton. So it makes for a very intriguing opportunity from a mining perspective. And, we obviously need to do a lot more work, some further metallurgical work as well to complement the feasibility study. But we've got a substantial amount of data here that we've been able to work through to contribute to the next iteration of the mineral resource estimate.
Great. So moving on from that, you also had a recent announcement, Karim, and that was a further investment from Newmont Ventures, and that's actually for your projects in Southeast Europe. So far away from where you're at the moment.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So Newmont obviously have been contributing to both in terms of financing for the Southeast European Exploration Alliance. A lot of exploration work was conducted in Kosovo and into North Macedonia over the last couple of years. We've identified a whole bunch of targets. These are copper gold opportunities that are potentially of interest to Newmont. So this next investment into Ariana comes as part of this longer term commitment to the Southeast European Exploration Alliance. And one of the things they wanted to do was to get back up to just over 4% of the company, because that's what they originally held prior to our merger with Rockover, which we completed last year. So they were diluted in that process. And then by investing a further $871,000, they were able to go back up to the 4% level. So, we're looking forward now to continuing to work with the Newmont team. They've applied a lot of technical support to the exploration that we've been conducting in Southeastern Europe, and we look forward to making further discoveries with them.
Well, I mean, it's been a busy start to the year for you, Karim. You've also just come back from the mining Indaba down in Cape Town. Tell us about some of the conversations you had down there.
Yeah, well, we had a really good reception at Indaba. We were at the 1-to-1. We had a completely packed schedule. In fact, we had way more interest than we were able to handle. So we were sort of meeting from dawn till dusk. It was really very, very good indeed. And, a huge range of interest from all manner of investors. So a number of funds, and, these are global funds in essence. A lot of interest coming in from within Southern Africa, interestingly. So a number of large funds within Africa are interested. We've got Asian funds interested and some representation from the US as well. So it was a really good mix, and we're looking forward to maintaining dialogue with a number of these groups.
Sounds like a very exciting period ahead for the company. Karim, thank you very much for joining us today all the way from Dock Bay.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
That's Ariana Resources Managing Director, Karim Senor.